Love lives here.
Right. So, hey, everybody. All right. So, today we're talking about living above the line, and that is our theme for the entire summer series. So, let's say our focus statement this morning with all of the A's, shall we, for above. All right. So, how are we saying it? With A's. A's. Go for it. Awesomeness. Amazing. Abundance. Amen. Audacious. Above the line. Okay. Actively. All right. Admirably. All right, here we go. Ready? We embolden people to live their highest potential through the transformative power of love. Yes, indeed, we do. And another way that we can say that is we embolden people to live their best life. And living your best life is the theme for this year here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living. And as I mentioned, we are moving into our summer series this weekend, and we are moving into living above the line. That is the theme for the summer. That is our summer series. And I'm excited about this topic. I've been excited about all of our topics. But I'm excited about this topic. I'm excited for when I return from sabbatical in September, the transformation that I know is going to take place within our community as we all begin to live above the line. All right? So let's talk about this line that we're going to be living above, right? So if you look at the line, look at the graphic there. Jossie, have you popped the graphic up for people at home? All right. I just want them to see the graphic there at home, too. So if you look at the graphic there is above and there is below. So my question for you right now, and you can give me just a show of your hands, how many of you are currently in this moment above the line? All right. How many of you are below the line in this moment? Okay. How many of you are like, what's the line? Okay. All right. So, Joss, you can drop that at home. Thanks. So, living above the line or living below the line, how about if we define it this way? If we're below the line, we're feeling somewhat closed off. We might be feeling somewhat defensive. We might even be committed to being right. If we're living above the line, we're open, we're curious, and we're committed to learning. So now that I've defined that for you, how many of you are above the line? And how many of you are below the line? A couple of you are being very honest with yourselves, and I really appreciate that. Some of us are right on the line, walking it, like, yeah, a balance beam or a tightrope. Yeah. When we live consciously, and this is what we're talking about, this living your best life, living into your vision, living into your fullest potential. When we are living consciously, our self-awareness tells us where we are, when we tell ourselves the truth, right? It tells us where we are. So in order to live consciously, we have to be aware of where we are in relationship to the line. If we say that we're living above the line, but we're really, that's what we're saying, but really we're truly living below the line, right? That can be a very dangerous place to be because then we're kind of deluding ourselves. We participate in delusions and distortions, and we're kidding ourselves like, no, everything's good. It's all great. Liar. Right? When we're putting on those false airs, we've been talking about personas, right? And so being above the line or being below the line, is it more beneficial to our lives of living above the line? Absolutely, it's more beneficial to be living above the line. But if we're aware that we're below the line, that is also hugely beneficial too. We don't have to pretend that we're feeling something that we're not. We don't have to make up these stories. We can just be present with what is. We can be present with what is. And when we're present with what is, then we have the ability to be aware, be self-conscious, not self-conscious, but be self-aware. That's like, you know what? Right now, I'm below the line. And that's okay. Because being aware that we're below the line is showing that we are, in fact, living consciously. That we have tapped into this, like, wait a minute, something's off kilter here. I recognize that it's off kilter. And now that I recognize that it's off kilter, I am what? I am empowered. I have the possibility, I have the potentiality to shift my perspective. I have the opportunity to choose something different. Because now that I'm aware that I am below the line, now that I'm aware of it, it's like, okay. I can choose to stay here, or I can choose to shift. I can choose to explore. I can choose to grow. I can choose to learn something more. I can choose to be curious in this moment. And the moment we do that, we shift to being above the line. It creates a shift where things then become possible. When we're living above the line, we're living in that what if up, like we talked about a few weeks ago. Because then we're seeing greater possibilities. We're open to more curiosity. We're open to what else is possible for us when we are above the line, when we are participating in being open and curious and receptive. However, our predisposition, my beloveds, is to actually be where? Where do you think? Below the line. And this is a natural function of our biology. That we are predispositioned as animals walking the planet, just like the squirrel last week was like concerned about his life and Luther getting him, right? We too are animals walking the planet, concerned if something is going to get us. And so we are constantly, even if we are not aware of it, even if we are unconsciously doing it, we are constantly surveying our surroundings. We are constantly looking for threats, and we are constantly responding to them. The possibility of threat. This is what is kind of operating under the surface. It's part of our reptilian brain. It's part of our limbic system. It's our amygdala, this little tiny almond-shaped gland in the center of your head that goes fight, flight, flee, freeze, faint, right? And so we're constantly looking and surveying. So we have this natural predisposition to want to protect and want to secure our surroundings. Now, last time I checked, there aren't saber-toothed tigers chasing us anymore. I don't think, unless Jurassic Park has come to life. But what our brains do is our brains interpret any type of threat, not just physical threat, but any threat to our identity, any threat to who we claim ourselves to be, any threat to our personas, we interpret this as a life threat. And so what do is we double down. We get defensive. We get closed off. And we have to be right. Ooh, I have to be right. Because if I'm not right, I'm going to lose. My identity is threatened, so I must be right. And now I'm living unconsciously, and I'm living below the line. Anytime, as we talked about last week, when we are complaining, anytime we are attached to something, and we're holding on to those attachments dearly, and we're complaining, monku, 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 keha, 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 bitch, bitch, bitch. Anytime we're doing any of that, right? 3 different languages for you in case you wanted to, in case you really want to get it off your chest, right? Anytime we're doing that, anytime we're participating in that, where are we living? Are we living above or below the line? We're below the line. Because what are we interpreting that to mean? Oh no, this is catastrophic. Something terrible is happening to me. To me, to me, to me. We've heard these to me's before, right? So the to me is that consciousness that says that there is something out there that is occurring and it is happening to me. I don't have any control over it. I need to find somebody to blame, somebody to shame, somebody to point fingers at. Sometimes it's even blaming myself or shaming myself. I need to hold on to resentments, right? I get mad, I get upset, and I'm blaming. Oh, this happened. She should have been looking out for me. Why didn't my dad do this? Why didn't my brother do that? Why didn't my sister? If only it had been different when I was little. Man, oh man. If only my ex-husband would have, right? All those if-onlys, the what-ifs, the what-if downing, right? The what-if that takes us in a spiral down. All those what questions, or when we're in that consciousness of to me, we're often asking why questions. Why me? Why did this happen to me? Why did that little old lady cut me off in the middle of Costco when I was trying to get my Ritz crackers? Didn't she see me? Doesn't she know I'm here? Oh my gosh. And we get incensed, right? This is all that to me. So to me lives where? Below the line. To me is living from below the line. We're constantly living at the effect. We're constantly reacting. Reactive, reactionary, going ballistic. It's a reactive state because we don't feel like we have any control or any power to make a difference or to make a change. And what's the next step up? From to me, we have by me, right? We have the by me consciousness. The by me consciousness says that we have the ability to create our reality. We have the ability to create our experiences. And how do we create our experiences? What do we need to do? Be conscious. Participate. Begins with an R. Responsibility. Yes. We need to take responsibility for our lives. We need to take full, radical responsibility for our lives. Now, this doesn't mean that we are taking responsibility and saying, oh, no, these bad things didn't happen to me. Oh, no, these bad events, these bad experiences didn't happen to me. We're not saying that it didn't happen, but we are now taking responsibility for what we choose to make it mean. We're taking responsibility to become open and receptive and curious about what is the possibility, what is the lesson in my experiences, what have I been invited to learn, how am I being invited to grow? You see, when we begin to move into the by me and we begin to take responsibility for our lives, the questions that we begin asking are how questions, right? Or what can I learn questions. How is this serving me? Questions. And so we move into this greater sense of empowerment because we're no longer living at the effect of, it's like, oh, that lady in Costco was blocking my way. Huh. Maybe I need to learn to be more patient. Right? See how the energy shifts there? Rather than she's in my way. She's blocking my Ritz crackers. right? And then I carry that with me the rest of the day, where it's like, oh, okay. I don't have anywhere to be. I can be patient and wait. And what a shift in my experience that is when I'm realizing that, I'm getting a little irritated because she's in my way. Oh, wait, I don't have to stay irritated. I don't have to be this way. I can shift the way I'm thinking about this. I can shift the way I'm feeling about this. Oh, okay. Right? So we're moving from below the line to above the line by taking responsibility for our emotions, by taking responsibility for our feelings, by taking responsibility for our thoughts, by taking responsibility for our actions, and by taking responsibility to shift from being reactionary to being responsive. We then begin to act from a place of being able to respond to what is happening, recognizing that the world is not conspiring against us. Rather, the universe is conspiring for our highest good. Conspire with spirit, with intention, with spirit. Kon and spire, spirit, right? With spirit. So the universe with spirit is acting for my highest and best good. It's not acting with malintent. It's not acting to make me mad, right? It's not acting to get me all triggered. No. It's conspiring for my highest good. So when we move into the by me, when we move into that place of curiosity, what is the feeling tone you're experiencing, do you think? What are you feeling? Empowered. What else are you feeling? Free, joy, lightness. And when you're in the to me, when you're living below the line, what are you feeling? Heavy, victim-y, bad, sad, mad, angry, powerless, right? So how would you prefer to live? Above? Above the line? Yeah. Above the line, you're going to experience more happiness, right? Above the line, we can experience more creativity. Above the line, we can experience more innovation. Above the line, we can experience greater possibilities when we are above the line. So, what is this commitment piece? This year, this summer, we are working with the 15 commitments of conscious leadership. It's this book right here. There you go for folks at home and for here in the room. 15 commitments of conscious leadership. Now, just because it says conscious leadership and you're like, oh no, I'm not a leader, that's fine. You all are leaders in your own lives in a various variety of ways. But what we're really talking about is we're living consciously. 15 commitments to live consciously over the next 15, 16 weeks. So, when we talk about commitment here, we're talking about the commitment that we were talking about several weeks ago. Those underlying commitments. Because if you want to know what you're most committed to, the way we're defining commitment here is it's simply a statement of what is. It's a snapshot. It's a statement of what is, right? So what are you most committed to right now? Whatever you're experiencing in your life, as the way I shared this a few weeks ago, whatever we're experiencing in our life right now, that is what we are most committed to. It is the result of what we are most committed to. So all of us, right now, are committed to the weight that we are right now. You know how I know that we're committed to the weight we are right now? Because we weigh what we weigh right now. That's how I know that we're committed to the weight that we are right now. Because that's what we weigh right now. Right? We're committed to the way we're dressed right now. You know how I know we're committed to the way we're dressed right now? Because that's how we're dressed right now. Right? So if we want to experience something different, we have the opportunity to pay attention to what we're most committed to and then shifting from there. So over the next 15 weeks, 16 weeks, we have the opportunity to look at these 15 commitments that we all have, that we all go through life with, these 15 commitments. And there is a commitment above the line, there's a more conscious commitment that is going to serve you living your best life, that's going to serve living into the vision, that serves you. And then there's also a commitment that is below the line, a commitment that sabotages what we want, this commitment that sabotages us. And again, it's not good or bad. One might be a little more open and freeing and enjoyable, but as long as we know where we are, we can continue to make conscious decisions. If we find ourselves below the line, committed to something below the line, we have the opportunity to go, you know what, this isn't working for me, let's shift. So each week, our guest speakers, and they are fabulous, I have to tell you. We have Reverend Bobby Becker and Reverend Veronica Silva and ministerial intern Jesse Keeler, all from Namaste Center for Spiritual Living in Long Beach. Reverend Bobby and I started ministerial school together, oh my gosh, 11 years ago at this point? Wow. So we started school together way back when, and she is absolutely wonderful, and her team is amazing, and so I'm very excited that they will be with us throughout the summer. And then also we have another ministerial intern, Marcus Gilliland. He's from San Diego. And then we're going to wrap out the summer with our very own Neil Hayner. Neil's going to wrap it up for us in September, on September 10th. So it's going to be an amazing summer. And they're going to be sharing with you each week one of these 15 commitments. And they're going to share with you the commitment that's above the line. They're going to share with you the commitment that's below the line. You're always at choice. We're always at choice. So they're going to share these commitments with you. They're also going to share with you practical tools and ways of shifting from below to above. Because if nothing else, here at Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, we live practical spirituality. As long as you take the tools and run with them, right? That's on you. Remember that responsibility piece? Yeah, darn it. Yeah. Dinah's like, yeah, whatever. Responsibility. So above or below? Okay, above. All right, just checking. All right. So we have that opportunity to lift and be uplifted and share and express from above the line. And these beloveds are going to support you all along the way. I also want you to know that you will have your tools for thriving each week, like you have had, like we've been doing for the past year or more. You're going to have the tools for thriving. You're also going to have your questions for contemplation or for your discussion groups. So you can take every week's material like we have been doing. You can take every week's material deeper into your conversations, deeper into your small groups, deeper into your lives, and live more fully from them with the tools and the questions. And then our friend Reverend Leslie Goodwin from New Vision Center in Arizona, in August, starting August 17th, she's going to be doing a book study around the 15 commitments of conscious leadership that is, ready? Free, F-R-E-E, to anybody who wants to sign up. And so she's doing that. It'll be a 4-week book study, which will take us right through the end of my sabbatical. So there's an opportunity to go even deeper with the material if you choose to engage with it. And what I know through all of this is that we collectively are going to have an amazing summer. We collectively are going to have an amazing summer. I know that our community rises up out of the mire, out of the muck, because we are a self-aware community. We are a community of self-aware individuals. We are a community of people who are committed to their conscious unfoldment, to their conscious evolution. We are a community that is committed to living above the line, to living consciously. So this week, your task, my beloveds, is to begin to notice when you're in the to me versus when you're in the by me. Notice where you might be sabotaging yourself versus serving yourself. Notice where in your life you tend to frequently find yourself below the line. Because if you say that you always live above the line, you're lying. I know you are. I don't know of one person, not even the Dalai Lama, who lives above the line all the time, right? It's an opportunity, though, when we see that we are below the line to shift. We don't have to stay there. We don't have to build a condo there or buy a condo or even a timeshare. We don't have to have our mail forwarded there if we're below the line. It's like, oh, visiting. Okay, below the line. Because it can happen in a blink of an eye. How many of you have been having a great day and then just like, eh, right? All of a sudden, somebody cut you off and whew, done, donezo, right? So we live in these states of consciousness. A state is not a stage, meaning that we're not going from one to the next, to the next, to the next. A state is a temporary experience. Do we have a center of gravity within these states of consciousness? Absolutely. However, they are states. We move between them. We can move out of them quicker when we're more aware of them. So this week, pay attention. Pay attention to where you are at any given moment, and notice where you are in or where you are living below the line versus where you're living above the line. And allow yourself to begin to see the shift. And my beloveds, I know that this summer and practicing these commitments, when I come back, this community will be vibrating with energy, will be vibrating with empowered responsibility, with empowered consciousness, with empowered love, so that we can then continue to move forward as a community, standing together as we heard them sing, standing together as one, and moving forward into our greatest and greater yet to be. And so I give thanks for all of you. I give thanks for your generosity of and understanding as I take this 3-month sabbatical. After serving this community for 5 years now, we've been together for 5 years, my beloveds. 5 years already. So I want to thank you for your generosity and your love and your support. You'll still see Ed around a bit. You'll see me at the 80s dance party because, hello, 80s dance party. So you will see me, but sabbatical starts this Thursday, June 1st. So. Thank you. So I invite our practitioners to please stand and surround the sanctuary, and I invite our core council to please join them. So these beloveds are in service to this beloved community every single day, lifting this community high in love and high in prayer. If you have a prayer request, you can certainly fill out the prayer request card that is in your seat back pocket, or if you are at home, you are more than welcome to send an email to prayer@riversidecsl.org. And so just coming together in consciousness here and now. I recognize that there just is this one power, presence, life, love, infinite, eternal being that is all, through all, as all. That it is always expressing for the highest and greatest good because it is good itself. It is love itself. There is nothing else it could be because there is nothing else other than love, other than light, other than peace, other than joy, other than abundance, other than harmony, other than divine right order and divine right action. And so it is always expressing itself in a magnificent multitude of ways, yet it remains unified as the one. So I recognize that I am an individualized expression of this one life, of this one love. That right where I am, the power and the presence of Spirit of God is. That it expresses itself through and as me, and I in and as it. And how joyful and joyous it is to know that there is just this one, that I am inseparable from the one life that created me, that created all life, that I am an emanation, an impartation, a manifestation of this one. And as I know that this is true of me, I know that this is true of everyone gathered here this day. I know that this is true of everyone who is part of this community. I know that this is true of all of life and all of creation. And so I speak my word here and now for our beloved Riverside Center for Spiritual Living, the community that we have built, the community that we continue to build, the family that we are. I speak this word, affirming and knowing that each one of us comes with an open heart, an open mind. We come curious and ready to learn, curious and open to the expansion and the unfoldment of our consciousness. We come together to serve one another, to lift each other up, to magnify the good and the love and the glory that is already present here. That we come together as one family. And we pay attention. We live consciously. We are awake and aware of when we fall below or we fall short, and we call ourselves higher. We call ourselves into a greater yet to be, into a greater capacity. We call ourselves into a greater possibility. And so I know that this summer is a summer of beautiful unfoldment, of rest, of rejuvenation, of deep learning and growth, of infinite possibility for one and all. I know that it is a summer of joy. I know that it is a summer of love. And so I give thanks for that which is already unfolding. I give thanks for our beloved community. I give thanks for the generosity and love and support of its people. I simply give thanks. And I release this word now, knowing it is done, knowing that all is well. I let it be, and so it is.